Meghan's had a lovely, relaxing time on her summer holidays, so obviously she can't wait to hear about all the horrible news in Germany and Konrad's trip to a fascist rally. 2 German states have elections this weekend, with the AfD leading in the polls, while an Islamist attack in Solingen has made it even easier for them to stir up racism. Hey ho, the wheel of misery and hatred takes another turn. Well, at least the megas are chilled. Cheers!
In Berlin's heart, where news is unveiled, Meghan and Konrad with German tales. The German news, it's tough to bear, but with mega cans, they're ready to repair. Konrad, daily news at hand. Meghan feels to spare, time to crack those cans. With each sip she takes, the mega's a shield, but will it last the news? 'Cause that was the deal.
Hello everyone, we're back. It's a new episode of Megan's Megacan after our Sommerpause.
Yeah.
I'm Megan, I'm in Berlin, very, very hot Berlin, 34 degrees, and I'm here with Konrad. Hi Konrad.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. It's warm under these headphones, I can tell you.
Yes, your little ears must be
Toasty.
very sweaty.
Yeah. Have you just been on the U-Bahn or the bus?
I've been on 2 buses, both of which, I mean, forget air conditioning. They appear to be being heated. Like, I cannot describe to you how hot public transport was just there. And I deal with the heat really well. I love it. I don't, if you were an elderly person, I don't think you'd be able to use public transport today. Like, it would be, you would just keel over. And then some random buses are like air conditioned.
Because do you remember when it was all rainy in June? And now it's all this hot. It's mad, isn't it? It's the last glow of summer. Next week it's going to be September. What's happening then? Can
you believe? 2024. The next year is going to be 2025. Like, we're on fucking Starship Enterprise. Unbelievable. Anyway, I've been away in lovely Ireland and I'm back and I have to learn about the German news now, and I have to say I'm even less informed than usual, but from
I can already feel your resistance.
The glimmers that I've been hearing, I'm like, nope, no, thank you. But we have some new Megacans today.
Oh, good.
Well, new to us. I think they've been on the market for a while, but they're not available to everyone. I have a feeling they're going to be disgusting, but I don't know. Anyway, they're from Absolute. They are a tall, thin can.
Okay, but still 330.
Still crucially 330 mils.
Oh, phew.
So,
because I'm not going to get through this on 250 millilitres.
We are fucking not. Absolutely, absolutely not. Looking at the notes. So,
we've had that one before. I recognise that yellow can.
I don't think we've had the pineapple one before. We've had something. I don't think so. I don't know.
It rings a bell.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember commenting on it was some kind of pina colada.
Oh, maybe we have. Okay. Scrap all of that. I can't remember anything. One is yellow, one is pink. Like I said, probably going to be gross, but this is the kind of hard-hitting, frontline journalism that people need from us, Konrad.
It's always, as long as you get through the first inch of a mega can, then the rest is fine.
Yeah. So you can have, these are both Absolute cocktails, pineapple fizz or berry fizz. Oh, I do think we've had this before. I'm going to have to start writing a list, like a fucking, what do you even call it, like an Excel sheet of what we've done and what we haven't, because I can't.
Well, what my dream is to have listeners vote on their favourite megacans, and then we have like some kind of chart.
Yes, please start doing that. Just engage with us solely on the level of megacans. That would be great.
I want some kind of widget, like an online tool where people can click on their favourite megacans, and then we make a chart, and then we can have like them going up and down. Like, it'd be really exciting every week. That's my dream.
Let's see that. How do we make that happen?
I know. I need someone web savvy.
Yeah.
To do that.
Maybe someone knows how to do that. That seems like witchcraft to me. Pineapple or berry?
Pineapple, please.
Oh, I think you took that one last time, and I remember the berry one. This is all coming flooding back to me now.
Shall I have the berry one this time? I'll have the berry one this time. I haven't had the berry one.
I had quite a bad day, so I'm going to let you do that. That's
No
real
worries.
teamwork, everyone.
That's friendship for you.
Yeah. You might like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm into the fruits of the forest.
I mean,
as they
so
say.
am I. I don't know if I'm into it mixed with
Cheers.
absolute.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that is rank.
That's disgusting. Oh, I'm so sorry that we've done this again. I thought we had to do it. I'm losing my mind, honestly. My brain is just fried. It's 34 degrees and we had to, like, I'm back to work. No kids yet this week, and I'm really excited to be back. It's always good. I start missing teenagers right at this time of year. I'm very happy to be coming back. But I can't use my brain for 5 hours. Like, I had to use it today and, like, explain things to people and then do these things. And I'm just,
Oh, yeah.
like, I haven't spoken German for, like, 3 weeks, so that's exhausting.
Oh, God. What a nightmare.
So yeah, no wonder I had an absolute like, we
Yeah.
haven't had these cans before. There were so many other delicious cans we could have had, but I'm sorry.
It's
That's
okay.
not the reality we're living in.
It weirdly reminds me of yogurts from when I was a kid. Like yogurts from
Yeah.
like supermarket
You are
own.
entirely correct.
Like those, like really the ones with the really artificial flavourings.
Yeah, 90s yogurts.
Peach
you wouldn't
Melba.
you wouldn't get middle class kids being fed those these days. They'd be
Yeah.
considered poison.
And it was like the supermarket own brand as well.
They're
Reminds
still
me of that.
10%. So
It's still 10%, so unlike the yogurts from the 90s were. So, yeah,
they
we
do
got a
taste
few.
like I've just got petit filou. I think it's they're not good. Don't get these. Sorry, Absolute. These are absolute shit. I really don't want to start talking about.
Well, we've got
like,
a few things to promote first.
yes, please. Let's do that. Everyone could just go about their day and not listen to the rest of it.
It's Podfest coming up again in Berlin.
Yay!
So go to the Podfest. There's I think they're doing like 10 days this time. It's huge.
Ooh,
Or
it's
a
getting
week
really
or
big,
something.
and it's
All of Berlin's podcasts and a lot of podcasts from other parts of Germany are coming to Berlin, and they're going to do live recordings, and we are going to be in amongst it.
yeah.
We're doing a collaboration with Radio Spätkauf.
I know. I'm so excited.
So that's going to be really exciting
I'm doing this
because
like
it will
you're
be.
telling me this. Obviously, I'm aware.
You didn't know. I know. I know. I was quite impressed then. You were like, yeah, you did. Yeah.
No, Podfest is lovely, and
Yeah.
obviously come and see us doing like a mashup
Yeah.
with Radio Spätkauf or whatever their little jingle is. They've got a great jingle.
Yeah,
that is going to be on Wednesday, September 11th.
It's easy to remember.
Yeah, at 5:45, and
And the Podfest is from September 7th to September 15th.
yeah, and it's a lovely festival to kind of go to.
Yeah.
Very nice. Imagine a festival. I think I've said this before, but just people who are into podcasts rather than like rock and roll and drugs. Not that there's anything wrong with those kinds of festivals, but those are sort of your vibes, and it's just
Okay.
really nice.
Yeah, so that's good. And then also I'd like to, because I've been using our summer break to release.
You said something insane to me as we were discussing what we were going to talk about, and you're like,
So-
"Can I just plug my thing?" I was like, "Yeah, we're going to talk about the film that you made in your spare time because you're," and you're like.
No,
Tell me
it's-
what have you done, Konrad?
It's the pilot episode of a comedy detective show. It's an audio thing, and it's available. It's called
Fucking hell, I love an audio like.
It's called Der Compressor. I co-wrote it with my friend in Pittsburgh, Christy Leonardo. Hello, Christy. He listens.
Hi, Christy.
We've been working on it for many, many years, like more years than we care to remember. And a couple of years ago, we actually finished the pilot episode script, and then we recorded it all. It's got several actors in it from the Pittsburgh community of actors. Yeah, and then I spent last year kind of editing it, and it took me ages because I was doing all this other stuff. But I finally finished it and finally released it, and now it's in podcast form. It's called Der Compressor. It is, I should warn you, it is a bit weird.
I mean, I think
It is a bit like it. I don't know. It's a kind of experimental. I don't know how to describe it. It's
everyone,
a little bit.
let's all just
It's a bit surreal, but I'll
get
put a little
that in
link to
our
it under
ear
this, and
holes.
then and there's a little. It's got music in it too. So it's like a kind of Sherlock Holmesy type structure, and I'm
love everything about this.
the Dr. Watson character. So I'm the kind of narrator. You know, like Dr. Watson
Yeah.
narrates it. So the narrator and assistant to the detective.
Oh my lord!
I don't know, but yeah, we've had sort of mixed feedback so far. We'll see what people make of it. Yeah, so It'd be good to get a few more listeners because not many people have listened to it yet. Yeah, so there's that. And then...
If you'd like to keep us in booze, as always, and also
Oh, yeah.
fund Konrad so he can do other stuff because the world needs this content, please become a patron. We have some very, very, very lovely patrons.
Yeah.
And the more we have, and then the more stuff we can kind of do for patrons. It's kind of a sort of vicious, is it not a vicious circle? What is...
A virtuous circle.
Yeah, there we go. That's good.
We could even use the money to make merch.
I would love to have merch. What would the listeners like in merch?
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously the
Let's-
podcast is always going to be free, but if you'd like to support us, we'd be very
we
grateful.
can really doing it very much behind the paywall, apart from the occasional like loopy thing, which is just us drinking for hours, which no one will want to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's that.
Thank you to all the people who came to see us at our last live show, which was the last episode we had, which was so lovely. And the Podfest is in the same lovely venue, House of Colour, on
Yeah.
Gneisenaustrasse, which is very relaxed. You can also, if you want to have your own podcast, they have workshops and stuff there, things like that. Ooh, Dead Lady Show are going to be there. They're class.
Yeah. Okay.
Very nice.
Stop
All right.
avoiding the news. So things are, it's all hotting up in Germany, figuratively and literally.
Yeah, but they don't do hot like in a sexy way, do they? It's like hot like, oh, you mean fucking fascism again, do you? Great. Okay.
Well, there's
No, not also terrorism.
terrorism and fascism. 2 state elections coming up on Sunday in Saxony and Thuringia.
Yeah.
Both of them in eastern Germany, and in both of them, according to the very latest polls, the AfD is in the lead, the far-right party. In Saxony, they're on 32%, and in Thuringia, they're on 30%. Closest rival is the CDU, the centre-right CDU, which in Saxony, they're putting up a bit more of a fight there. They're close, they're sort of level pegging with the AfD, whereas in Thuringia, the CDU is on 20%. The Linke, who are currently governing
Yeah.
Thuringia through the state premier Bodo Ramelow, have seen their polling ratings halved since the last election. So they were on about 30% at the last election, 2019. Now they're on 14%. And as for the Scholz's coalition parties, the SPD, the Greens, and the FDP,
In the toilet.
they're going to be lucky to make it into parliament.
Oh, fuck.
In all 3 of them. I mean, in Saxony, I think the FDP are already gone. In the polls for Saxony, the FDP is under other,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which means that they don't even count the FDP votes.
To be honest, with the way Saxony is at the moment, that might be something to be actually proud of.
So they're all hovering at like between
Okay.
4 and 6%. And if they go below 5%, of course, they don't get represented in the state parliament.
Yeah.
Which makes the state parliament a lot more simpler to work out what coalitions are possible. Now, at the moment, all the other parties have ruled out doing a coalition with the AfD,
Including Sarah Wagenknecht.
including Sarah
Okay.
Wagenknecht's the BSW, Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, which is this new party that started only in January. She has, and they have already also ruled out joining the AfD in a coalition, even though a lot of their policies are quite similar, frankly.
Yeah.
In the same ballpark anyway. So what is probably going to happen in both states is you'll end up with a CDU coalition with the BSW. That's
Okay.
maybe not. I mean, there are like moving parts and everything, but those are the 2 parties with the biggest vote share that are not the AfD that could even
I know, I
think
was doing
about.
some like frantic maths in the doctor's waiting
Yeah.
room the other time. Our partner was there, and I was like, Misha, if you add up all these things, you don't get 50. And he's like, you don't even need 50. You need like 32. What is it that you need to form a coalition? Is there a
Well, you
hard
do
and
need-
fast figure?
You are supposed to get more than 50% because then you have more
Yeah,
then you have a majority in the parliament.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. God,
Yeah. No, you are right on that.
thank you. I hope you're listening, Misha. I know you're not.
But in Thuringia at the moment, there is a minority government because they haven't been able to form a coalition.
I think presumably that was okay.
So because they had this awful mess last time at the last election, and then you'll remember there was a brief interlude where the FDP guy was state premier for about a month.
Yeah.
This happened just in early 2020. It was like just before COVID started. There was this big scandal when this guy called Kemmerich was voted in as the state premier with the votes of the AfD. Basically, Merkel had to intervene, and
yes.
there was a big
all
uproar.
Flowers at him or something.
Yeah, the Linke woman, she refused to. There was this like ritual where they all like congratulate the state premier when he gets elected in the parliament, and they hand him a bunch of flowers, and she threw her bunch of flowers at his feet, which was I met that guy. Well, I didn't meet him, but I was at a press conference with that guy, Thomas Kemmerich. He's still around.
Yeah,
FDP leader in Thuringia, currently polling at 3% in that state.
Poor
There's that. So that's all coming up. And yeah, so I was in Thuringia last week, and I saw a speech by Björn Höcke, the leader of the AfD.
Not just the leader of the AfD, but like the most radical. And I think this is also the really scary thing about them polling so well, is it's not, these are the real hardcore, I mean, not that anyone I think anymore in the AfD is trying to be like modern, you know, but he's like a literal Nazi. Can we say that?
You can. There was a court ruling which says that it's okay to call him a fascist.
Can I call him a Nazi?
I'm sure you can.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, people do. You wouldn't be the first person to say.
No, yeah, that's fine. I just, you know, sometimes I want to be within the parameters of the law, but no, it's fine. That's what they get me on.
So
how was he? He seems like a genuinely horrible.
Well, yeah. Well, you have to imagine in.
Paint us a picture.
It was marketed as a Sommerfest. So this was a campaign event, and it was marketed. I was in a town called Bad Langensalza, an old spa town. Like a lot of these little towns are quite pretty, you know.
Yeah, Erfurt is lovely.
Yeah, so it was about 30 kilometers outside Erfurt, a little spa town where in the olden days people used to go and drink mineral water to get well. Yeah, and take in the Kur, as they said. And this was marketed as a Sommerfest. So there was balloons, there were kids getting their faces painted, there was bratwurst and beer being sold, and there were different AfD speakers. And the final one was Björn Höcke. There was about, I'd say, it wasn't huge, it was probably maybe 150, 200 people there. Okay. It was on a kind of car park. There was a counter demo, which was separated by the police. About like 50 meters away, and they like a handful of people shouting and whistling and trying to drown out the speakers, which you always get. And also the town of Bad Langensalza, or should I say some civil society organizations in Bad Langensalza, organized it on the same day, their own family festival, family summer party in the city center. And it was like a party for diversity, and you know, like and there were a lot of people there. They had a bouncy castle, which the AfD didn't have a bouncy castle, I noticed.
If your fucking Summerfest doesn't have a bouncy castle, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
This is exactly the point. They won't be able to govern, even if their policies weren't racist bullshit. They literally can't even, you can't rent a fucking bouncy castle 2 weeks before your big state elections. Come on.
Losers.
Jesus.
So there was the point is like they obviously, and he does like 2 of these events every day, Björn Höcke, in the election campaign. The day before, he'd been they had to actually cancel a Björn Höcke event in Jena, because Jena has a bit of a militant left-wing scene, and it's
a big university town, isn't it?
Yeah, and they organised a counter demo which was much bigger than the police expected, and they broke through police lines, and the police said then we have to cancel because we can't guarantee the safety of this, and the AfD actually cancelled it in the end. So Björn Höcke was prevented from speaking in Jena the day before, but where I was, there was not much trouble. I mean, it was pretty quiet, and he
bouncy castle, like sensible folks.
And so there is a lot, I should say, because you know, like the East East Germany often gets a bad reputation, but there is a lot of resistance wherever you go to Björn Höcke and in Thuringia, and there are a lot of civil society organizations, but obviously it is bad, and he kind of like bounced on stage full of confidence and energy, and he had like this crisp white shirt on, and and he spoke with no notes, like made a load of points, spoke for about maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, and lots of people were filming, a lot of young people actually at the festival. It wasn't just like what you'd think, like loads of old people, a lot of young people there too. And he kind of just said, weird stuff. Like he said that transvestites were teaching sex education in primary schools. He talked about crime figures from immigration. He talked about or tied crime figures to immigration. All the things you kind of expect.
Yeah.
And then he kind of argued why he wasn't a fascist, and he said that he kind of turned it. And another thing that he did use very sort of quite effectively was like tying the idea of the coalition government, the Scholz's coalition government, to the East German regime. That he kept bringing up this idea that he said that. Demonstrators were being paid by the government, and this reminded everyone. And he reminded everyone this is what happened in East Germany. Like he kept bringing up this idea that the coalition government and the Altparteien, the old parties of Germany, are effectively bringing back the thought police of communist East Germany.
So it's just like straight out of the. They're not even the alt-right anymore, but this like new, we see it everywhere. Like, just verbatim. God, it's fucking boring.
Oh yeah, no.
So dull, like, and also obviously really scary. But it's not even anything. And
so I spoke to a few people afterwards, and they were saying, they were a bit suspicious of me as a journalist, and they were very kind of like, okay, but what did he actually say that was wrong?
Oh yeah.
And I said, well, I don't think transvestites are teaching sex education in primary schools. I think that is wrong.
I don't think we really use the word transvestite.
Oh, we don't say that anyway.
Yeah, but also it's like, even to go in and start look at first of all, it's a complete, like, wildly. Are there maybe some trans people teaching in primary schools and sex ed would be part of their job? I don't. It's such an insane statement, and then you have to start. It's what everyone says. You have to start talking on this level, which is just like demented. Like it's not reality that we're dealing with here. But that's not really the point. You don't have to deal with reality if you're. This is not a new point. Like if you're a fucking populist.
But and it was just what is really noticeable from talking to the voters, because the people who were there weren't all AFD supporters necessarily. They were just like local people.
Gone to the wrong Summerfest. Like, we heard there was a bouncy castle. Who the fuck is this lad?
So I spoke to this older gentleman who said that he was. He said, I haven't decided who I'm going to vote for yet, but I wanted to keep an open mind, And but the point is that.
I'm finding these days people say I want to have an open mind. Everyone should have an open mind. I'm like, open to what precisely, sir?
Yeah. I mean, what was scary was that they were considered as a legitimate option in a way I think they really aren't in other parts of Germany. Yeah. They are just considered like another political party, and they treat them as another political. They don't treat Björn Höcke as being like their savior or whatever. They just see him as, he's another politician. Let's listen to what he's going to say. That's kind of the impression I got from talking to the people that were there. I mean, obviously there were like hardcore
normalization that we should be rightly very afraid of.
And that was what was really scary. And I was watching this documentary about the rise of Hitler in the 20s, early 30s, and it was a bit worrying how quite a lot of parallels.
Yeah. You were sort of saying this earlier with like inflation and
cost of living, but also thought of the way he was like he's also been through a trial, like Hitler was on trial. Okay, Hitler tried to do a coup. And Björn Höcke has also been on trial, and
for anyone who doesn't know, like whether you could legitimately call him a fascist or not, turns out.
Yeah, well, he's been on trial a few times, but most recently he was on trial for using unconstitutional phrases, terms.
Paragraph, something.
Yeah,
86.
basically the law that they brought in after the Second World War to stop people being Nazis openly. And yeah, he uses a lot of these phrases. And yeah, and it's kind of, we have to remind ourselves as well that for a long time, the AFD tried to kick him out twice.
Yeah.
The people and the leaders of the AFD at the time have now since left the AFD.
Yeah.
So he's like clearly, I mean, he's like clearly taken over this party. I mean, he's the most important person, even though he's not the actual leader, the national leader. He has sort of taken over, and that is really scary. That even the leaders of the AFD can't get rid of him and have to kind of toe his line. He's not towing their line. Yeah, I mean, it is.
Because,
I mean,
like you said, they're already on 30.
Yeah.
All they need is 50%, 51%, and we're.
Yeah, and the other scary thing is that
that's
this.
kind of, it's growing. The other thing that you said you were watching a documentary like a few months ago, I looked at the election results for like 1930s Germany. Don't look at that. The numbers. It's not just the situation the same. It's the fucking numbers are 1-to-1 as the.
Yeah.
What I just think is insane. It's like, okay, but guys, yeah, stuff is bad for a lot of people. I do understand that. But it's not fucking it's not 1920s bad.
No.
For Germany. It's not even close. Like, it's fine.
And that's the other thing, is people always say that East Germany is like economically depressed and everything, and it isn't that bad. I mean, even like where I was, Bad Langensalza, I asked the people, I said, you know, what are the problems? What problems do you have here? And they said, oh, everything's fine.
Yeah.
But what they don't want, then they would say things like, yeah, but we don't want it to become like Kreuzberg or Neukölln. We don't want this to be, or we don't want it to become like Solingen. You know, we don't.
So it is racism that's driving this, and I think you can have legitimate concerns about how I really think this system within countries where refugees and asylum seekers are like parceled out to random places where immigration is never gonna, it's all terrible. And it is going to lead to tensions within society. Like, I think you can have concerns about that happening on a big scale, but I did see it's like when you ask people like, well, what are the actual problems? And they go, well, I'm really worried that I'm going to lose my house, and it's because of this, this, and this. And therefore, like, if you can tie your suspicion of lots of refugees being moved to your town to your economic, like,
Well, that's it. Well, I think that people aren't. If you talk to people about immigration, very soon the discussion turns to public services. Like, they don't they always talk about. Like,
are you being denied public services?
Yeah.
Or do you think that
they feel and they feel like something is being taken away from them.
Yeah, because someone else is getting the same thing.
Yeah.
They want to.
And actually, what they're really concerned about is not immigration. Is their schools and hospitals and pensions. That's what I think most of the time, and that's why. And they just don't mind voting.
I don't know.
Racist.
Like, I saw this. I was trying to find it earlier when I was again in the doctor's surgery looking at. Might have been Stern. It was one of those ones. They had all these like little infographics from a recent poll, and they were asking people in Thuringia and Saxon like, what are your concerns? And they could choose from like a drop down, like they could click as many as they wanted in this list, and something like 46% of them clicked like immigration is a concern, and then the other ones were like, I don't know if people like if it's.
Well,
I mean, it's probably not all.
Yeah.
It's just a whole mess.
For example, in Saxony, which is a slightly different situation because in Thuringia we have there is currently a left wing government. Mm-hmm. There's the Linke in a minority government with the SPD and the Greens, whereas in Saxony you've got a CDU government in coalition with the SPD and the Greens. And
you think?
I'm pretty sure. I know it's got. I'm trying to remember if it's got the SPD in it or not, but it's definitely got the Greens in it, and it is definitely a CDU government. But and so there, and the state premier there is called Michael Kretschmer, and I think he's got much better chances of staying in office than Bodo Ramelow has in Thuringia, and that's probably what'll happen. But
I did see on this statement infographic thing, which was interesting, like the Die Linke is like tanking in Thuringia, but Bodo Ramelow came out way on top of like if you could vote for an individual candidate.
Oh yeah,
which is really weird. So I don't know if maybe.
Oh, Ramelow is great. I saw Ramelow live too.
Bodo Ramelow is also a much better name. Like it's just if we're going on like like Bodo Ramelow, he sounds cool. Björn Höcke and
yeah.
No.
Yeah, Ramelow's like an interesting figure. So he came he's also not an actual native East German. He moved there in the early 90s. He's kind of like a linker by accident. He's effectively a social democrat, but he kind of joined the linker, and he was just he's really good at speaking. He's very like when you see him in person, he's very witty and funny. Like he called Björn Höcke a Rotzlümmel, which I had to look up.
What's a Rotzlümmel?
It's like an out of town upstart idiot, like a Göre, it's the male version of a Rotzgöre.
Oh, you're just telling me more words I don't know.
Hang on, I'm gonna have to Google exactly what the dictionary translation of Rotzlümmel is. Snotty brat. Rotz is snot. Snotty brat. So he called Björn Höcke this Rotzlümmel who's coming in here and taking over. And the point he was making is that Björn Höcke isn't a regional. He's a regional politician. He's actually campaigning for the whole of Germany. And in the same way, he also criticised Sarah Wagenknecht. He said Sarah Wagenknecht is on all the posters here, but she's not on the ballot.
Yeah.
And for her party, and he was saying, I'm here for the people of Thuringia, and I'm here to look after their interests and all this other stuff. And so he's but he is really, really good on a personal level, and people really like him. And I think there's this. He's been in office for 10 years now. Apart from that 1 month when Kemmerich was voted in 2020. But he's like, and he's got this way with people, and people seem to trust him. But his popularity has gone down a lot in the last 4 years. Yeah. So and then meanwhile in Saxony, there's been loads of campaigning going on, and as we were talking about the economy before, Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor, and Kretschmer and Ursula von der Leyen were at the opening of a semiconductor factory, an EU-funded Taiwanese semiconductor factory, which is going to bring 8,000 new jobs to the region. And semiconductors is like a big geopolitical issue right now.
I've never heard of them.
I don't really know what they are either.
Are they half conducting?
They're half conducting, they're important for computers.
Okay.
I think
tech stuff.
The point is that Taiwan is like the home of semiconductors. They have some of the best semiconductors, and they're opening this big factory here, and it was helped by the EU, and they put it in East Germany because it's going to bring loads of jobs there, and people are trying. The Chancellor Scholz, who is now extremely unpopular in the whole of Germany, is doing his best to say, look, I'm doing this for you. Do you want, I am actually...
Have some semiconductors. Fuck you, we want full conductors, you dick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, shit.
And you haven't got a bouncy castle. How's your Mexican?
Oh, I've nearly finished it, and there's so much news to get through.
Oh.
Anyway, so there's that happened, and then of course we had the incident which didn't help all this in Solingen in North Rhine-Westphalia, where 3 people were killed by an Islamist terrorist, and in this knife attack, the CDU Friedrich Merz has reacted to this, saying he was like a Syrian asylum seeker who apparently had been rejected, so he should have been deported. So now,
okay, I didn't know that.
So now they're saying Friedrich Merz has concluded that we have to stop all Syrians and Afghans coming into the country, which would which is like legally impossible. It would. Where
But
do you
again,
start?
he's in opposite. Like, he doesn't have to deal in reality. He's just. But I thought he was supposed to be reining in his populist kind of
Oh no,
twattery.
he's doubling down on it now. I mean, this
maybe
is,
it's because the political climate. I don't know. I was reading something today that the like Greens are like, we need to have like a harder deportation, like more consequent deportation and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
And like, it's awful. Like, Solingen, it sounds so awful. And it was like this like nice diversity festival, and it's like just people having fun. I don't think it's a particularly big town.
no.
It also had some bad stuff in the past with neo-Nazis, you were saying.
Yeah, in the
And
90s.
it's just like, it's awful. And then everyone
So now they're
like,
talking about
jumps on, and it seems to be fine for like the right wing and the sort of anti-Islam kind of thing to jump on and politicize an event. But when it happens sort of otherwise, like, I don't know, this criticism of like, oh, well, you're politicizing this issue becomes, when we have...
I know, and also we've had all this stuff before, and these centre-right parties, they think that they can win back votes from the AfD by saying this stuff, and they just can't. They're not going to.
And
I
all
mean,
you do
that's what
is,
happened
like,
to the Tories in the UK.
fail to do the actual work of trying to build a modern, integrated Germany. And then everyone is just disillusioned. Like, I have never heard like Berliners and I know Berlin is a bit of a bubble, but like people who are here by choice or like feel more disillusioned with Germany right now. No one has a good word to say about it. We're just riding around in fucking unconditioned U-Bahns in the richest country in Europe, the biggest economy in Europe, and we're all just like riding around in these sweltering trains that no one will air condition because we're 400 years behind everywhere else, listening to just like insane stuff being said by politicians and the media. And like, I'm sure that's the same. And like, I don't know. And you're right. They think they're going to win back. They think, oh, people are sliding to the right. But then
It just doesn't work.
you have to offer like an alternative analysis. You can't just go, oh, we're going to be AFD light. You have to go, no, the AFD are wrong. We can put in like all of these things, and still horrible things unfortunately are going to happen. That is, we're not condoning it. We're not fucking saying that it's cool that this happened. It's awful. But pretending like, what are they trying to do? What are their responses to this? Like the mainstream.
Mario Voigt is the CDU's candidate in Thuringia. He says
Mario Voigt.
Voigt.
Voigt. Oh, Voigt.
Voigt. Voigt.
Okay.
Not Voigt as in moist.
Yeah.
That would be bad. He's wants repatriation centres where rejected asylum seekers should be held. I just think, that's...
Oh, repatriation. That sounds very much like the word that we were all getting really upset about whenever the AFD were saying remigration. But
Oh, yeah. By the way, the word remigration, which was a massive scandal earlier in the year and caused hundreds of thousands of people to demonstrate against the AFD, that word is now on AFD posters in Thuringia and Erfurt.
oh, fucking hell.
I mean, it's like,
They're just saying the quiet part loud now, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else they're doing about Solingen? What is their response going to be? Which is going to make absolutely no fucking difference, apart from to make people that are also very much at risk from terrorism in this country feel even less safe.
Olaf Scholz wants to tighten up knife carrying laws.
Oh, for the love of Christ, Olaf. Right.
They already said they were going to do this beforehand.
Right.
But now they said it again.
It is a bit mad, I think. Germany's like, I've had like found knives, not in like a bad way, but like on kids in Germany, like pen, and I was like, oh my God, you can't bring this to school. And they're like, well, their reaction made me realize that like Germany has a slightly different culture about this than the UK.
Well, so apparently the law now, as it currently stands, is you're allowed to carry a knife of 12 centimetre with a 12 centimetre blade on you.
Yeah.
and they want to reduce that to 6 centimeters.
And we think that this is going to stop the rise of Islamic extremism within Germany, which is an issue. Of course, it needs to be dealt with. Like, I'm not saying. I saw someone talking about maybe schools offering like Islamic religious education as a counter to kind of the extreme radicalization that can happen in other places.
Yeah.
That seems to me, I didn't read the whole, like stuff like that seems reasonable. Reach out to your community leaders. Do this kind of work. Like, have your politicians that are of the Islamic faith talk about this. I don't need to hear fucking Olaf Scholz telling me that if we reduce a knife by half, then the problem of Islamic extremism is going to...
To be fair, he didn't say that. He just said that he wants to change the law to do that. He didn't say that is going to stop Islamist violence. He just said we need to...
Fine. I also think it's insane that people are walking around with 12-centimeter knives. Like, fine. But he's presumably doing this, like, in response. They wanted to do it before, but this is being put forth as a response.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is...
tightening knife
Exactly. You're
laws.
doing a tough on crime thing. Again, you're trying to be right-wing when you shouldn't be because you're the fucking SPD, allegedly.
And there were things like there's these, what they called switchblades, which I guess is like a blade that can flip out of the handle. Yeah, those are supposed to be banned from now on.
Why? What's different between a 12-centimeter switch? Like, is it just because they look so cool? They don't want to glamorize it?
They're just against cool knives.
Okay.
I don't know. And also various, not only those, but various sort of martial arts types weapons, like the 2 sticks with a chain between them. 2 sticks.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what they're called.
I don't know what they're called either.
Nunchuckers.
I thought those were something different, but then I don't know.
Anyway, those are banned already. Those things are banned already. Knuckle dusters are banned already. Anything, yeah. So, those kind of things. But of course, then the police have their own opinion about these things, and they say, like, well, this is all very well, but we have to be able to police these things, and how are we going to do that? How are we going to, and that we need. And the police are then saying, the police unions then say, well, we need extra powers to be able to police those things, such as
stop and search.
Stop and search, yeah. Like, just random searches.
Well, just erode everyone's civil liberties in response to...
Yeah. And
it's like...
Yeah. And then that's kind of makes it is more complicated in Germany because of those kind of stop and search laws, and the certain cities in Germany are have no weapon zones. So where you can do stop and search. I would
kind of assume that everything is just a no weapon zone, to be fucking honest.
No, but the point is that those things have come under local laws, which the federal government can't intervene in anyway.
Oh, okay.
So here you go. I'll show you a picture. This is a picture of Cologne Waffenverbotszone. And so
but are those things not banned already? Like, what am I allowed to carry around with me in Germany? Have I been missing out?
No, you can't. You can't carry a gun without a license, but even if you had a license, you wouldn't be able to have it in this no weapons zone. Okay. And the thing is, and so there have been academic studies about whether these things work, these no weapons zones, and interestingly, it says that they haven't actually reduced crime, but they have increased people's feelings of safety.
Oh.
So people feel safer, even though they're not actually safer when they're in a no weapons zone.
Well, we shouldn't have said that. We've just fucked it now. For
well, I think that's partly because in those zones the police do have stop and search powers, so people see more police around.
Okay.
So then they feel safer because there's no. But actually, it hasn't actually reduced crime in those cities. It's just a thing that makes people feel like it has. So those things that exist, and those measures have already existed.
And presumably the people polled there will be the people who are not feeling considerably unsafer, less safe, because they are the ones being stopped and searched and probably submitted to like police brutality to various degrees of...
Yeah, well, I mean, then there's the whole racial profiling issue.
So... do you think we'll ever be able to discuss a story that's like Just brand new. Just presents a brand new... No, we didn't fucking try and do this after 9/11 or World War II.
Are you talking about systemic change in the country?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a different podcast though.
Not one.
Not one about things that happen from one week to the next, but you know, maybe we should talk about stuff that, you know, what can we do to actually create a better world?
Maybe we should.
Yeah. Or how would you imagine a different world? Like maybe we should get like a special expert
I do
guest
sometimes
on.
wonder that we're just kind of like being very negative. It has a very horrible effect on me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I feel very dead now.
Oh, sorry
I'm
about
also
that.
quite drunk.
How's
But
your?
no, but it also feels good in a way because you're kind of like, you know, I listen to podcasts that have a similar political whatever. I'm like, yes, I am right. Yes, I knew that. Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah, that's right. That's right. That seems normal and reasonable. Yeah, maybe we should try and... Conrad, would you like to run for German office?
No,
Should
God,
we
no.
start a
Can you
political
imagine?
party? They're all fucked. Let's just do... My brother and I always talked about like forming one in Northern Ireland, which was just don't be a dick. Just try not, like, Northern Ireland obviously has its own set of problems, but I don't know.
And on that note...
Yeah. Maybe you have some ideas. Maybe you're doing something and you want to come on and be a guest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a brilliant, maybe like a, you know, community project, something that will make the world a better place,
Yes.
do get in touch and we'll have you on and we will promote the hell out of it.
Yes. Please. Let's start doing that. That would make us a responsible podcast, not just like drinking and complaining. Which
Yeah.
is fun, but ultimately, I don't know how much... We could have a little segment. Maybe I could be in charge of that. It would make me
Positivity
happy.
segment.
No, like positivity sounds like it's like toxic positivity, but
Okay.
like I do feel we could balance it out. I think even for my own sanity, surely stuff is not getting... I don't want to
right,
feed
well-
voter apathy. There we go. Oh, we all need to try and be German by the next elections. Those of us who can. It's very important.
Oh, yeah. That,
I'm going to actually start this process so we could do like a blow by blow. I'll talk everyone through how to do it.
okay.
But also, I think if you're not B1 German, get on that now. That's one thing I think you need to do.
Can we make a podcast out of that? Can we do your blow by blow, how to become a German?
Oh, yes.
How to become a
How to
German?
become a German. The
That's
only
that
reason
would
I'm
be-
doing it is because I want to vote and mega cans are 10% here. That
Okay.
is still...
That's not going to be on the Einbürgerungstest, though. It's not. They don't ask you why you're going to be
No,
a
it's
German.
just going to be like, how much do you love Benjamin Netanyahu on this scale from a lot to a normal amount? And then like weird stuff about traffic laws. I don't know.
what is the capital of Saxon-Anhalt? Okay.
What's the capital of Saxon-Anhalt? I don't know. Oh God, I'm going to fail my test.
I don't know if you need to know that.
Okay, yes.
Anyway,
if you have
something like
something
that.
positive that you would like to talk about, please come on and do it.
Yeah.
And then,
And you get a free mega can.
yes. Yeah. We'd love to have you. Okay. Feels
Okay.
like we've been talking for ages, have we?
Quite a long time,
Oh,
yeah.
God, okay.
About an hour. Great. Well, this has been fun. I'm so glad you're back.
I'm very glad I'm back. I do love hearing the news from you.
Yeah.
I don't think I can cope with it from anywhere else.
Through the fog of an absolute cocktail.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine now, but that's because I've been drinking the whole thing. So, yeah, it's not great. It's not
Okay.
great. Bye, everybody. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Stay hydrated.
Mega can. German news in English with a cocktail can. The German news, it's quite a test. With Megan's Mega, you're feeling refreshed. Ooh. Megan's Mega can. German news in English with a cocktail can. Deutsche Nachrichten sind düster und schwer. Down the Mega.
Defy the fear.
Yeah.
It's actually it's quite a positive message to give to
think
people.
so.
I like to think that we have quite a positive impact on our listeners.
I hope so.
Because we try and get them to defy the fear of listening to the news all day.
I mean, it's better than reading a German newspaper. Surely.
I would definitely recommend listening to our podcast more than reading any German newspaper.
German newspapers barely have pictures.
No.
Like fucking, it's just a brick of text.
Oh yes. Yeah, and they seem to make a virtue of it. They think it's like so great to have no text.
Not like you Americans
pictures.
with your fucking
Colour pictures.
decadent pictures in your newspapers.
Yeah,
What's that? A crossword puzzle? Oh, no wonder you had Trump. Jesus Christ, everyone! Like, there's a middle ground.
You have to concentrate on the news. It's very important. And you have to like keep it there.
Just have a mega.
Have a mega. Give us a picture every now and then.
Just a wee picture, maybe of,
Yeah.
a diagram.